Hello Nidorinas and Nidorinos, and welcome to Cinnabar Island, where today the Cinnabar Flare are going to be hosting the Virbank Venom. And in this matchup between two top 5 sides, the Virbank Venom are going to start out with Crobat, their number 1 draft pick, and Tentacruel, where Cinderace and Darmanitan are going to start out for the Cinnabar Flare. And I say this every time, we are still yet to see Darmanitan in its Zen mode all season. So let us know in the comments below who you think will win today. Will it be the Virbank Venom or will it be the Cinnabar Flare? Now Crobat, with that speed advantage on the field, is going to start out with a guard swap, switching guards. It's all changes to its defense and special defense, but there's been no changes so far. We've only just started the matchup, but that beat up from Cinderace is going to hit 6 times, and with that Libero hidden ability, it will change its type into Dark, which means every hit will get that stab boost. There's 3, there's 4 again. That 4th one is actually a critical hit, almost gets Crobat into the yellow, but the 5th one will do the job. And there's that 6th hit, which is a fantastic start for the Cinnabar Flare. Tentacruel that now has that water type in, see if it can capitalize on it in this matchup. Goes with the headbutt, targeting Darmanitan there. Decent hit as Darmanitan flinches, so Darmanitan doesn't even get to have a turn in this first round of moves. Crobat though, setting up for its second move. It's going to go with an Amnesia. It's going to boost its defenses here. You almost have to think it would have needed to switch now as it gets a special defense boost. Cinderace, again with that Libero ability. It's going to go with a Blast Burn, so it's going to go back to being a fire type. But Tentacruel avoids that attack. That would have actually caused Cinderace to have to recharge in the next turn as we get a Bug Bite coming from Tentacruel. Now it's not very effective on Cinderace this turn. It would have been super effective in the previous turn. This Tentacruel takes Cinderace's Lemon Berry and proceeds to eat it in front of Cinderace. Darmanitan going for its first move of the matchup, and it's going to go with the Land's Wrath, which won't affect Crobat, who is part Flying type. So it'll hit Tentacruel, a huge hit, taking Tentacruel down into the red, but that's a super effective move. Now, as always, this is a 6-on-6 Metronome battle, and if we hit that 20-minute time limit, we will go into single battle overtime. Crobat now going for a Tickle. Crobat yet to go for an offensive move. However, that Tickle is going to lower the attack stat and defense stat of Darmanitan, which is completely relatable. I'm sure everybody knows when you get tickled, you seem to lose all your strength. Now, Libero going with the Recycle, so its type's going to change to normal. However, the Recycle will fail. Second move in a row that has not paid off for Cinderace as Tentacruel goes with the Imprison. So Tentacruel, any moves that's shared with it, Darmanitan cannot do, and we already know everybody shares the Metronome move, which means Darmanitan will be struggling in between, when it goes for its attacks. Now we get a parting shot coming from Crobat. Crobat will be going back to the bench, but before it does that, it's going to lower the attack and special attack this time of Darmanitan. They are really trying to lower those stats of Darmanitan here. Darmanitan does have that 140 attack stat, and we know it's gotten quite a few eliminations throughout the season with that. Drapion now coming head onto the field as Cinderace goes with its struggle after Tentacruel's last turn. We'll get the recoil damage. We'll be seeing the Cinnabar Flare do that struggle whilst Tentacruel is out on the field. Tentacruel now going with the Lash Out. Going for Cinderace here. And this will take Cinderace down into the yellow. Darmanitan now going for its struggle. And that doesn't even finish Tentacruel off. Tentacruel is holding on, but Darmanitan down into the yellow. We're going to see the Zen mode, and here it is. So Darmanitan is now in its Zen mode. It does get that Psychic typing. First time we've seen it all season. We have seen the Galarian form Zen mode on the Snowpoint Frost. Cinderace takes itself down into the red with that recoil damage after hitting Drapion. Now we get an Air Slash coming from Tentacruel. This should finish Cinderace off surely. And that it does. Tentacruel gets the first elimination of this battle, and this is exactly what the Virbank Venom need to do because they want to inch up into the top 4 so they don't have to be a part of the wildcard trials next week. The teams that place between 5th and 8th will be in the wildcard trials. As that Fury Dance hits Darmanitan, gets the critical hit even though it's not very effective. Now Darmanitan going for its struggle again. This will finish Tentacruel off, so Tentacruel has been eliminated. Which means Crobat will be coming back out onto the field shortly, but Darmanitan with that recoil damage drops down into the red as we have Colossal come out to join it, the Rock Fire type. Crobat back on the field. Crobat is still in the yellow, remember. Now Cinnabar Flare have locked up a top 4 position, an elite 4 placing in the championship trials. They're currently second. They cannot get to first, but they can slip lower on the ladder as that bug bite from Crobat will finish that mana 10 off. So sadly, we will not see the Zen mode for very long in this matchup. We may see it longer in the championship trials though. Drapion with its chance to focus in on Colossal. It's going to go with the Poison Tail. It'll get the stab boost here, but it's not very effective. Now Colossal is going to go with the Play Rough. This won't be very effective on the poison types. Going after Crobat there. So we'll have the 4th Cinnabar Flare Pokemon coming out. And it's Magmortar, the number 1... Oh, I apologize. The number 2 draft pick for the Cinnabar Flare this season. Now Crobat going with a Thunderbolt. Focusing in on Colossal here. Looks like they're trying to chip away at the Rock type. Drapion looking to follow up. And Drapion's going to go with a Charge Beam. This time going for Magmortar, we get the electric type attacks coming from the Virbank Venom. Magmortar now going for an Octo Lock onto Crobat. So Crobat can no longer escape. But as always, we do see these matches throughout to the end. Even if we have to go into overtime to do so, is that Colossal goes with the Anchor Shot onto Crobat. This could finish it off here, and it does. Crobat has been eliminated, and it is now a 4 versus 4 battle. The Cinnabar Flare are not letting the Virbank Venom build any momentum in this matchup. And we now have the all-amazing and incredible, the almighty Nidoking come out for the Virbank Venom. All biases aside, we know the Nidoking is fantastic. Now Drapion going with a Lash Out. Drapion being the dark poison type. Not to be confused, it is not a bug type, even though it looks like one. That Lash Out connecting with Magmortar, taking it down into the yellow. A huge hit. Nidoking could follow it up here. Nidoking sets up a Toxic Spikes on the side of the Cinnabar Flare. This is actually a very good play, because now any Pokemon who comes out onto the side of the Cinnabar Flare will be poisoned upon entering the matchup. Magmortar now sets up the Magic Room. So all held items will lose their effect. Now Colossal, it's going to go with the attack order. Goes for Nidoking here. Now it's not very effective, doesn't do a great deal of damage. Everybody's in the green except for Magmortar, who is in the yellow at the moment. So the Virbank Venom do have the health advantage. Drapion's going to go with the Burn Up. That does fail though. Nidoking goes with the Shadow Ball. See that ball being created in the air. Goes for Magmortar. And it'll finish it off. Magmortar has been eliminated. Colossal's on the field by itself at the moment. We'll have Pokemon to come out and join it shortly. But first, it's going to go for a Fury Cutter. Going for those Bug-type moves onto Nidoking. And that time it did even less damage. But Nidoking's Poison Point ability will leave Colossal poisoned. Which means all the remaining Pokemon on the side of the Cinnabar Flare will be poisoned. They'll all get that status condition as Colossal takes damage from that poisoning. And here comes Rapidash landing on those Toxic Spikes, so it's poisoned already. This is brilliant play by the Virbank Venom, setting up those status conditions. The Cinnabar Flare are going to have to get some quick eliminations before that poisoning takes effect. Rapidash coming out with the Hypnosis. It's going to put Drapion to sleep. That's a good start entering this matchup. Drapion is fast asleep. Nidoking now looking to respond for its side. It's going to go with the Corrosive Gas. It's going to burn up everyone's Leper Berries. Now Cinnabar Flare are on a 5-game winning streak. They have built the best momentum heading to the end of this season. As Colossal performs a rest, it's going to put itself to sleep and take its health back to 100%, but as I was saying, the Cinnabar Flare have built some amazing momentum. 5 wins in a row, and also Colossal, having put itself to sleep, has also eliminated its poisoning, so it will not be suffering from that in between turns. That was actually an amazing play by Colossal, and we almost didn't even catch it, as Rapidash is going to go with its Geomancy. Now it's not going to go for any offensive moves with that 2-turn Geomancy. Now Drapion is still asleep. Got 2 sleeping Pokemon on the field right now. Nidoking is going with a Bug Buzz. Targeting Rapidash there. Even though it wasn't very effective, a decent hit, and Colossal also still fast asleep. But again, as I was saying, Cinnabar Flare, 5 games in a row. If they win here today, they will go into the championship trials with a 6-game winning streak. That means they would have won every game in the last third of this season. That will be impressive momentum to head into the championship trials with. As that Geomancy is finished off by Rapidash, boosting its special defense, speed, and special attack. Drapion still fast asleep on the field here. We can hear it snoring away on the battlefield. Nidoking trying to lift the weight of its team, goes with the Synthesis, so it's going to restore its own health. So Nidoking gets itself back to full strength with that Synthesis. And Colossal also still fast asleep. Rapidash taking more damage from that poisoning, going down into the yellow as the Magic Room wears off. Now, the Virbank Venom actually lost last week, so they slipped out of the top 4, dropping into a wildcard spot. So they want to try and win today, get back up into 4th, potentially even 3rd, as Drapion does wake up. Have to think, though, they won't be able to match the Hearthome Haunts points throughout the season. The Hearthome Haunts had an impressive elimination total. Drapion wakes back up. We're going to get a tail slap coming from Nidoking. This multi-hit move goes for Colossal. Hits twice. There's 3, 4. It'll get all 5. Colossal surely has to wake up now after being hit 5 times. And it does. Colossal is probably not happy to be tail slapped whilst it's sleeping. And it's going to go with the Shadow Ball. Going for Nidoking. Nidoking suffering using a Shadow Ball on Magmortar earlier. There's that poison again, hurting Rapidash. But as I was saying, I don't think the Virbank Venom can jump up above the Hearthome Haunts unless they were to have a perfect game. Seismic Toss now coming from Drapion. Going for Rapidash, and that will get the job done. Rapidash has been eliminated. There's only 2 Pokemon remaining for the Cinnabar Flare. Virbank Venom still have 4. They have a huge advantage at the moment. As Nidoking goes with a self-destruct. This could take out Drapion, and it doesn't. Drapion holds on, but it is in the red. Nidoking has eliminated itself. That is a terrible move. It's not very effective on Colossal. Colossal could get the elimination here. Goes with the Magical Leaf. If Drapion's eliminated, it's a 2 versus 2 battle. Drapion just holds on after that not very effective move. Ninetales now coming out for the Cinnabar Flare. Ninetales obviously in its Cantonian form. And Toxapex coming out for the Virbank Venom. Now Toxapex and Drapion have teamed up on numerous occasions and performed very well together, as Ninetales' drought will make that sunlight very harsh over the field. Cinnabar Flare needs to get the quick elimination of Drapion to get it back to even 2 versus 2 on this field. As we get a Heat Wave coming from Ninetales, this will hit both Toxapex and Drapion. So Drapion will be eliminated. Not very effective on Toxapex there, but a decent hit regardless. Toxapex is going to go for its first move of the matchup, and it needs to capitalize on its water typing. Instead, it goes with the Mystical Fire. And it goes for Ninetales. That actually did a lot more damage than I would have expected, and it's because it was a critical hit. In the process, it lowers Ninetales' special attack. Colossal going with a Thunder Wave. It's going to leave Toxapex paralyzed. Ninetales taking damage from its poisoning now. And the last Pokemon for the Virbank Venom will be coming out onto the field. And it's Toxtricity in its low-key form. Now its Amp form is a member of the Lumiose Lightning, who we know cannot qualify for the Championship Trials this season. So Toxtricity looking to be the only low-key Toxtricity looking to be the only form to qualify for the Championship Trials, as the Virbank Venom can actually technically still slip out of the top 8 if they lose here today. Now Toxtricity is going to go with a Land's Wrath, a huge hit. It'll take out Colossal, and Ninetales holds on, but Ninetales is poisoned, which means just like this, whether Toxapex gets the elimination or not, and it will, it's going to go for the crunch. Just like that, the Virbank Venom have beaten the Cinnabar Flare, which means the Virbank Venom have actually beaten all current top 4 sides, that being Melee Draconids, Hearthome Haunt, Cinnabar Flare, and the Olivine Ore. So even the Virbank Venom are going to go into the championship trials with some massive confidence, knowing they can beat all top sides. They may even be in the top 4 after winning here today. We'll find that out at the end of the round. But the Cinnabar Flare, having lost today, could actually slip out of their top 2 position. They could drop as low as 4th. So I look forward to seeing how the top 8 shapes up, especially after this matchup. A very impressive performance entering from Nidoking and Drapion. Unfortunately, Nidoking did perform that self-destruct, which did not help the Virbank Venom whatsoever. But Toxtricity came out onto the field and obliterated the competition without Landsrath. Very impressive performance. Cinnabar Flare did everything they could to hold on, but it just seemed to be the Virbank Venom's matchup here today on Cinnabar Island. Again, a very impressive performance, considering at the start of the season I was not expecting the poison types to make the championship trials. That Landsrath, amazing hit. The Nidorinos, thank you so much for watching. Let us know in the comments below who you thought was the best on field today. If you enjoyed what you saw, please leave a like, share, subscribe, but more importantly, always remember, you are awesome, and I look forward to you joining us in the championship trials next week. I will speak to you next time.